Hello and a very warm welcome to the program, The Voices, where every voice counts. And today we are going to be speaking about women and their health. Now, there's a story on social media recently that a woman passed away and a friend visited the house only to find out that they have a maid taking care of their mother-in-law, which the woman spent most of her time taking care of. Now, the issue is, how do women take care of their health in the midst of family, job, children, and even their own emotional issues? These are the issues I will be discussing today with my panelists. Yes, I have one man standing in the house and a lady here. So let me start with Mariam Abdurrashid. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Mr. Femi Adewi. Mr. Femi, I hope you won't be intimidated.
No, not at all.
All right. Gentlemen and lady, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. So let's start with the question. How often do we check on our health? How often do we go for checkup? Let me start with you.
Okay, so if I wanted to speak about this
Yes.
on a
You're a
personal
communication
level,
expert
Yes.
as far as health is concerned.
Yeah,
So I'm sure you have a lot of experience. How often do we check on our health, especially women?
So there are studies around health issues which collects data and tries to see what age range where people pay attention to their health more, and you find that it is younger people do not. It is people from, say, their late 30s into their 40s that pay attention. And then for women, women are expected to be the caregivers, but not necessarily paying attention to their own selves.
Okay.
Like in the story,
Yes.
this instance you just gave, she probably had a lot going on with her already. And then
I think the question I should even ask, how regular do you check your own health as a woman?
personally,
Yes.
for the first time, it was just last year I went and did a full body checkup at the end of the year.
After how many
for
years?
the first time. Maybe in between, just do bits of things because you feel a certain way,
Yes,
but like a proper.
Yes.
And it was really helpful to be able to be told, okay, this is what you should pay attention to. This is what is fine with you. So for me, it was the first time. So I can imagine what it's like for
Even you who is in the
others.
field.
Exactly.
So you're not even a good example. Mr. Femi, how often does your wife check on her health?
I think it should be
You think?
something they should, be conscious of.
No, I'm asking you, how regular does your wife?
We have BP machine at home.
Okay.
Every morning, we check the BP. Every morning, check our sugar level.
Okay.
Whenever she's feeling uncomfortable, I advise her to go to the hospital.
Okay. So until you advise her, she won't go.
No, she will, but she will be.
She needs to push.
She'll take her time.
Yes.
She needs to push.
She'll be saying, okay, office, home, the children.
Yes.
She want to cook fried rice. She want to.
Always taking care of the home front.
The chin for snacks for the kids to take
To school,
and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes, they are very, they
But we'll come
concerned
to
about-
those issues. I personally, I am a very bad example. I cannot remember, it was only 2 or 3 years ago that I went to the hospital for full blood counts, for this, for that, for this, until, when I had some kind of a bloated stomach, and I was like, why is my stomach growing bigger than my body? And that was what really forced me, to go to the hospital. And my fear was, maybe fibroid. But when I went there, it was ulcer.
Okay.
Because I could remember when I was telling the doctor fibroid, and when she was running the scan on me, she was looking at me like, what did you say is even wrong with you? Though she was rude. She said, you just came here to waste my time because I can't see anywhere fibroid, but in the end, it was just ulcer. And that tells you little illness can metamorphose into something bigger and dangerous. And the question is, why do women have to wait until they are completely broken down? because you did say that they are caregiver. So if I'm a caregiver, I'm expected to be healthy, to be healthier than the people I give care to. I'm going to come back to the economic situation that, most times forces people to say, because when you go for those tests, even if you go to government-owned hospitals, as we speak today, you probably might be having a 50 or 100,000, because you go here, you say 5,000, you go there, it's 10,000, you go there, it's 20,000. Some would even consume your 100,000. The question will be, at what point should women begin to take their health, seriously?
So, while you were speaking, before I come to this, I thought you mentioned the word fear, like in your case.
Yeah.
I thought it's this or that.
Yeah.
You know, this saying that ignorance is bliss, I think some of us operate on that level.
Yes.
We may say, I rather not know this thing is there, we're just pushing it aside.
Okay.
We're afraid to, confront it.
Yes.
And that may be the best thing. So I feel for some persons, this reluctance to go do checkups is, why am I looking for problems that don't even exist?
Yes.
But it's a mindset shift that needs to happen, where you understand, if I check, I can quickly
But people
fix.
also have this fear about hospitals. They say when you go to the hospital, they always look for one thing
to say
about you. So the best thing is for you to keep, and especially the kind of diagnoses that we have these days, sometimes they are not accurate. So you find out somebody who does not have any illness, and then he goes to the hospital, and because lack of accurate diagnosis, they come up with something, and the person keep treating that illness, thinking that
it is what
it is what it is, and he wastes all his life.
The truth is, healthcare, as you said, Ma, is expensive. Healthcare is expensive to access, and I think things like health insurance can help in that aspect. But that's even another discussion for another day. Because
how people take that serious?
Yes, and how the health insurance companies even operate, how flexible it is, how much do people understand they can access to services. That's one, bit of it. But back to your actual question, when should people,
women
in particular.
I think today our focus is women.
It's women. So when should they go and or become conscious? So it's important, as far as I'm concerned. There's what we know, and then there's what we actually do. I just said I did a full body checkup for the first time at the end of 2024. But we've heard over time, even at a younger age, that there comes a time you need to be more conscious. Check so that things like breast cancer can be spotted quickly.
And
you
cervical
need
cancer too.
cervical cancer, yes. If for those who are sexually active, right? If I'm not mistaken. So those are things that you're told over time we should become something that is a part of you, such that you're not waiting and saying it's until I'm a certain age
before I go for that.
Before I go. Quite okay, there may be tests that may not apply to you. I have this young lady who is I mentor sometimes, and she once told me she was going for a test. She lives in Lagos. And eventually she told me that the nurse was just laughing at her eventually, because she's like, you are a virgin, so this is a test that you don't necessarily need at this time. So you see, some people may not even have that, and she had already gone through the whole process. Just at the last point, she's
so
now
you can
told
imagine
that
the time, the energy.
Yes. So information too is key. Health education is key.
I think we will come to that. That's why we are doing this now. But let me go to Mr. Femi. Mr. Femi, where should men come in terms of driving, their wives to do regular checkup, to take care of themselves, so that they can be healthier for themselves and for the kids? Maybe for you, a very supportive man, but for most men, the day the woman begins to say, I'm ill, and then there's this, she has started again, maybe she's coming up with, excuses here and there. How should men support their wives? How should men begin to tell their wife, push their wife to say, look, madam, your health is very, very important?
Thank you. These days, I observe that men don't really bother about their wives' health.
Why?
Until they are down. All their focus is let me go and
Make money.
You know, for my family to be this, to be that, and everything. But they've forgotten that if you look for that money, the people that are at home, if they are not healthy, will they
You
be
spend
able
it.
to, have access to the money? No, they're not. I have
Why do men generally think like that? Why do they think like that, that the woman does not need to go for regular checkup? Why do they think like that?
Not all.
But majority.
Yeah, they felt that, what are they thinking? It's not for them to stay at home, cook, take care of the kids, you know, and it's beyond that. It's beyond that. There's so many women that are going through trauma, and that trauma is really affecting their health.
Yes, it's killing them.
Yes, internally. There's some women that they cannot express their feelings to their husband.
Yes.
Fear. And it's killing them.
I think that's the biggest problem
Yes.
that we have.
Yes. It causes high blood pressure. Some has headache,
Anxiety.
ulcer. You know, thinking that if this man should come again now, I don't know what he's going to come up with. I don't know where is this man, is this and everything. You know, all this kind of, you know.
But should women go through that?
No.
Should they go through that
No.
only by themselves?
No.
Should they go through
No,
that?
not
Should
at all.
women continue to absorb all the pressure,
No.
all the insult,
No.
all the shakara?
No.
Should they do that?
No. They don't. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
Okay.
Women are very precious. Even in our Bible, in the Quran, even the traditional ruler, the idol worshippers, they respect women.
Because they are being given birth to by women.
Of course. They are very fragile. It's something that we need to, you know, take good care of. At least, if you look at it physically, when God, spiritually, when God started creating the earth, it was Adam before Eve. He created the woman,
From the rib of Adam.
Exactly.
So that Adam can continue the hustle before the woman comes.
Exactly. So the woman is at home,
Yes.
preparing for my husband will soon come home. You know what a woman expects is that for her husband to go to work and come back home. Hello there. Oh, you're welcome. Good to see you. How's work today and everything. That alone is a joy for her. If a woman is happy within her at home,
Yes.
she will be healthy for life.
Why do men just see women as a sex object and a production machine, a baby manufacturing machine? Why do they see them like that?
Not all men.
No, I mean majority. Majority.
If I may.
Yes. No, but I want him to answer that
answer
before I
the
come to that. Because he's the man. So why do men see women just as a sexual object and a baby-making machine? Even when a woman works, when she's a career woman, when the woman gives up, say, I have to go to work, I have to meet up with my work obligations, I have to meet up with my target, and they say, no, don't forget to. Your primary objective here is home and kitchen and the other room.
Yes.
That's your primary objective. So before you begin to think of meeting target, make sure that you don't lose that. So why do men just see women as that?
Well, you know, if you look at it in those days, the way we met it from our forefathers. The girl married.
So it's a generational thing. Forefathers passed it.
This is why I said, let me chip in. Okay.
Yeah, from our
Fathers,
you know, they married to 2, 3, 4, 5.
even 10 or 15, yeah.
You understand? So that they can have more children
To work on the farm.
work.
Now you don't have farm anymore.
So now, you know, the society is, you know, is now, you know, clear that all those things
I passed.
But people still think that way.
Exactly.
People still think that way. Most people think
That's
that way.
why I'm saying
Yeah,
that.
so, yeah.
Yes, so that's why if I want to ride on what you said, it's there's an emotional part of health for women as well. And she will flourish and make her home a very beautiful place also when the man is that firm emotional support.
Exactly.
A very unhappy person filled with anxiety will have their blood pressure go up.
All the
Even
time.
sometimes some of the illnesses like ulcers and all are tied to, you know, some traumas people experience. But now, let me speak as a millennial that is a bridge between the older and the Gen Z. We can say that there's beginning to be a shift in the way, like what you asked, why do men see? Some of them are still set in their ways, but at least we're beginning to see men who, like Mr. Femi, he already had the right mindset, let's say, from start. But we're beginning to see more men who are like, in fact, I'm a feminist. It's women who may hear say, I'm a feminist, but we are very men say, I'm a feminist. And you may see their fellow men coming for them, oh, you're just trying to dance to the music of woman, you know, but they don't care. And then you're seeing more men pay attention to the things women are saying. There's a movie, in fact, I think a Nollywood movie where the man they just believe you work at home, so what's the big deal? I go to get the money. But taking care of kids, waking up, saying is a big deal. So in the film, I don't know, by some, well, it's film, so it's fictional. Their bodies switched, and the man became the wife, and the wife the man. And then she had to go get the money
while the husband is at home.
So he experienced firsthand what women go to do with crying babies, to go and drop them in school, to make dinner, and make the home conducive for him to return. So of course, even for the man, if he doesn't return to a serene home, how will he go out there and be the best of himself, you know? So I just hope I'm not debating so much. It's women's health, but these issues tie together.
And that still brings us to the issue. Where's the bridging gap between a career woman and the home, you know, front? You know, people do so much these days. I mean, women are becoming breadwinners by the day because of the economic situation, and we do apology. Men are becoming lazier these days. A lot of them are becoming lazier. Maybe the Gen Z
50-50. They are asking for
now. The woman has to go to work in the morning, return maybe 4 or 5, then she has to go straight to the kitchen and try to make maybe dinner, and she tries to make even assignment for her kids, try to help her kids get their assignment done. Meanwhile, this man, he has been at home since morning. Or maybe he just went out and he came back, you know, briefly. And he's sitting on the couch waiting for her to say, to come back, cook for him. Even his kids' assignment, he won't do it. He will say, please don't disturb me. Your mother, when your mother comes back, she should be the one to do that for you. And that is where the pressure is, because you are battling with office pressure. You're battling with home pressure. If you don't come back on time, the man will say, so you have forgotten your responsibility. You went and sat down in the office. You didn't know that your husband is at home. Who should be telling this woman to speak out? There are a lot of women going through that. Who should be telling this? Because when you just go for a checkup, it is just a checkup. Nobody actually sits you down to say, Madam, what are you going through? What exactly is happening to you and your house? That is minus other, you know, issues.
This one is a slippery slope.
We can call it right.
It is, because different homes have their different dynamics. I am not married yet, but by observation, I'm always like, the dynamics of different homes is like you have your own specific DNA of how you operate. Because it's two individuals from two different backgrounds that have come to start a home. I think when I observe, I feel foundational problems have occurred between partners already.
Over time.
And if it's already there, it now becomes a question of how do we fix it moving forward. The woman may sometimes feel this marriage is not giving me the best emotionally. But the man feels everything is fine. So already there's a gap. So women need to learn to speak.
To speak up.
To speak up. So it starts working with that partner of theirs. Hopefully the man is not behaving like Lord and Savior of the house, like a tyrant, a general, because it's scary for a woman to be afraid to talk to her partner. So and we are seeing cases where they are saying women are walking away from their marriages, it's women walking away. But again, before a woman even walks away, she has said it, except you were not listening. She has expressed, she has said it many times. So women tend to have checked out in their head before even making the physical move to go away. But we're talking about the solutions. How do you even bring out the parts where emotionally you're going through things? Is the woman able to talk to the spouse? That's the first. Does the man have what we call his board of trustees or directors who can speak to him? Because I heard something somewhere where they said, don't marry any man, even a woman who nobody can talk to. There has to be that person that has their, listen here, when you cannot get to them. Someone, it could be their mother, a boss, someone they really...
a friend or neighbor.
A friend. So if she could talk to that person, please, these are the things I'm experiencing. I know that people are not just willing to let their marriages break down and then it ends. They want it to still work. It's a big deal.
And that is the question, where at what point should a woman say no?
No more.
It's over.
It's over.
Because it's this, I want to make it work. I want to make it work.
That even makes some of them die.
Yes,
I want to make
some get this abuse. Physical abuse, aside from the emotional abuse, and then the physical abuse leads to the emotional abuse. And then even if the woman doesn't die, I mean, she's already psychologically affected, she's gone. At what point should a woman say, this marriage is over, I am tired, I am done with it? Because most times what you hear, oh, because of my kids, I don't want my kids to suffer. But the issue is this, your kids will grow up with you or without you. From 18 years, you become less... No, but that's the reality today. From 18 years, your kids begin to detach from you. They begin to say, we're adults.
Independent.
We're independent. We need to live our life. So at what point should women say, no, it's over? Is it because the society will say... she's a very responsible woman. After all, her mother was patient with, because that's the kind of story we hear. I was patient with my husband, that's your father, for 50-something years. And do you think we stayed 50 years just in bliss? And we had our problem, but we managed. But that's not the reality today.
I think women should know it's enough when, you know, it's not about the home as a physical structure. Does the home feel like a home? Is it happy? What are your children seeing as an example of what's going on between their parents? Because they will internalize it and become adults who may be dysfunctional. But if you take them out of their environment and give them something better, you still have a home that feels peaceful. So is it affecting your children? The same children you think you're staying for. In fact, sometimes we may have to ask them, am I staying for the children or for myself? Or for what society will say? Because if you ask yourself the right questions, you will get the right answers.
Mr. Felix, where should the woman stay? Is it because of the children or because of the husband or because of society? Why should the woman stay in a home that is abusive?
First of all, she needs to protect her life.
Yes.
It's very important. When there's life, that is when you see your children getting married, graduating,
doing well,
or becoming the adult you want them to become.
Exactly. Or if you are no more, someone else will represent you.
Or you are paralyzed somewhere.
Exactly.
Because that's even the worst.
I read an article, it said a broken marriage is better than a dead life. It's best if there's no communication within husband and wife. Is a big disease.
Problem.
But why is there no communication? Who should set the channel of communication? Because most times the woman is the one who talks. There are men, the woman will talk from now till till decades, and he will just pretend as if he didn't even hear.
I think because men of these days, let me say, they are too stubborn
And rigid.
selfish.
I think that's the right word.
Yes. They don't think what their partner may feel.
That's a cup of tea.
I've said my own, and that is the fact.
Is it because there are too many cheap women outside? I'm sorry to use that word. Is it because there are a lot of women outside that can give them what they want?
Not because of that.
Yeah, that's why.
Then you see, our society has really, pollute so many things. Yes, if you look at it from the top, the government is even, contributing so many into these things.
So are you saying that the economic situation is making men more stubborn, more rigid, and they can't think straight?
Of course.
So economic situation is one of it.
Yeah.
So because the man is already depressed.
Yeah, he's depressed.
And so he brings the frustration home.
Yes.
And that is where I'm going to ask you,
Yes, ma'am.
how do you manage economic situation and family life? Because they say a hungry man is an angry man.
Yes.
So how do you manage hunger, anger, and your family?
Good. First of all,
Because it's not the woman's fault that the economy is bad.
if a man has the fear of God, yes, not until you are born again, not until you go to church 24 hours, not until you pray every time and every... No. Wisdom. If you have that, the knowledge of God inside of you, I think you're able to handle situations. Yes, your wife is your helping mate in all aspects.
She's your partner.
Yes. You might be down at any time. You feel that money, one day, that money will disappear from your hand.
And then you come back to family.
You come back. Some people don't allow their wife to work because of jealous and because of their selfish interests. No. Who are you talking to? Who is the person? I heard you talking to somebody on phone. Who is that person? Who is this? Even with that, you yourself, you are killing yourself. Why can't you give yourself a rest? Trust yourself and trust your wife. Let's put us together. My dear, there's no cookbox at home, there's no milk at home, there's no this at home, and the kids are there. They have to eat. They don't want to know, maybe mommy has no money or daddy has no money. Your own is to provide food on the table for them. But when there is communication within the husband and the wife, you see that gap will be closed. There will be peace at home. You understand? As a man, you should be able to absorb so many things.
All the pressure.
Yes. But when you get to certain level...
How can men absorb all the pressure? Because most men cannot absorb pressure. So is it that they begin to build their system to absorb pressure?
That's what I'm saying. Some don't, create that environment. Some men believe that when I go to the beer parlor, I take one bottle. Now, there's no money to buy bottle again, sef. It's a gogoro they are drinking. You tell them, give me Jedi. It's a lie. They don't know that they are even killing themselves. They are even killing themselves. There's nothing like you listening. Make your wife your friend. Make her your partner. Exchange ideas. What is the way forward? What can we do? What can we do? There's nobody that cannot help.
So we need more men like Mr. Femi talking to their fellow men.
In their board of trustees. And their group.
Because men tend to listen to other men.
Than to listen to women.
So when we have such men who have this know and are practicing it in their own lives and they speak, then we'll likely have more men have this mindset change and change their actions.
But let me ask you, as somebody in the health sector, which one kills women the more? Is it the emotional aspects of their life, or is it the, natural diseases that pop up maybe unknowingly? Which one kills them faster?
So, Matt, to answer that question, I would say it's an individual thing.
Okay.
Because just as the person can say, these are my deal breakers, you still see women who will say, if a man hits them, they may forgive it, but if he cheats, it's like, I don't go. Whereas someone else may switch that whole.
Yeah.
For one woman, it could be harassing her in a way that it gets to her emotionally, it could kill her faster than something else she has to treat as a physical illness. And when we want to talk of illnesses, there are different fatalities or levels of fatality to different illnesses, So it's really going to be up to her. I think women should learn to be more self-aware.
Okay.
That's another thing. Be more self-aware, because again, back to the question you asked earlier, when does she say it's enough? Is it when she's like, I'm drained emotionally and I'm even thinking of suicide? That's like
already pushed to the wall.
Yes. And for some woman, she may not be at that level yet, but she may be heading there. For some, it is even a case of the husband bringing illness to them based on what he's doing outside.
His irresponsibility.
And some are not even being irresponsible or going outside, but they're just not giving the wife rest. It is that behavior that it's going to be on an individual level. What's that your breaking point that you would say, and it's unfortunate, some women even have illnesses. We've heard of cases where they have HIV. Sometimes the man even knows he's treating himself, and then you've infected your wife and you don't say anything, and she's, grappling. Human behavior is funny.
Yeah.
It's complex.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about how the men can even handle some pressures, it is also about building yourself, having that fear of God you talked about. A lot of factors will influence. Sometimes you hear people that are actually in this HIV-related cases. There are so many stories you will hear. Sometimes the man is already treating himself. In fact, sometimes both the man and the wife, the caregivers at the health centers know. So it's a lot out there. I think it's mindset, and let us try to be decent human beings. It's
a very difficult question, or a very difficult advice to say, let us try to be decent human beings. Yes, the program is still The Voices, coming to you live on Politics and Business TV. I will take a short break, and when we return, we'll be asking Mariam, how can we be decent people? A very tough one. When we come back after the break, stay with us. Welcome back. The program is still The Voices, and we're discussing women and their health issue. We want to know, and how do you define decency?
Decency. I'm very glad to answer that question, because I run a platform called The Moral Code, and these are the things I focus on. Be a decent human being, and don't complicate your life. I have that quote I say, don't complicate your life. It starts with your mind. Let's go to our minds. We have to expose ourselves to the right information. Sometimes you're online, you're seeing what we call gender battles. The men are saying, oh, it's women who do this. If you go to that extreme, if you go to those two extremes, you would fall into the wrong mindset. There has to be a balance. Are the men listening to what the women are saying? Are the women also listening to what? Because the two sides can be, one side is completely right and the other completely wrong. We have to have what we call the common ground if we are to move forward. Being a decent human being is also paying attention to God's instructions. I am talking to people who believe in God here. God's instruction, whether as a Christian or Muslim, what are the things you've been told to stay away from? We always think we can comprehend. I always say, you cannot comprehend more than God who created your comprehension. What that means is, if he has said, stay away from certain things, certain behaviors, you find that if you follow those rules, you do not complicate your life. And you come off as a more decent person. Because you're avoiding the vices that will make you behave.
Shouldn't this go back to religious bodies? I mean, the church, the mosques, even the traditional institution. Today, we're a matter of diversion. If people talk about money, they don't talk about salvation, they don't talk about character, they don't talk about attitude. And this is what molds you as a human being. And this is what brings to the decency. So if somebody is talking to you and he says, Mariam, you need to be more kind, you need to be more generous, you need to be more understanding, you need to take care of your parents more, than somebody who will say, hey, Mariam, your God purpose in life is to build 24-story building, is to travel the whole world. When you listen to those kind of things, your focus, your target will always be about making money.
Exactly.
Forgetting the reason why you are created.
Yes.
But I will switch to Mr. Femi to say, why are the religious bodies not taking that as a challenge? Because it is when you have a good man is the person who molds a good wife. And a good wife is the one who also changes her husband. You hear in homes where they say, that man, oh, that's a very wicked woman. But the man is a very nice man. You hardly hear where they said one home has everybody complete, thinking the same direction.
It's rare.
It's rare. Even coming back to these emotional, issues, the church, the mosques is not filling their gap. Because when the man is preaching, when they go for guidance counseling, even in the mosques and the rest, they always blame the woman. When the man is wrong, the woman is the one that takes the heat. No, you have to be more patient. You have to be more tolerant. You have to be more supportive. You have to be more understanding. With all the wahala that she's going through, even taking care of kids on its own is a challenge. It's a very huge challenge. Most people can't even cope with it. And now you are bringing additional problem. And then when you go to people who knows better and they tell you, no, you are the one who is at fault.
Thank you very much.
I bombarded you with so many questions.
Let's proceed to the point.
Okay.
The truth is this. Men will always claim they are men.
Okay. That ego
It's always there. When they have, when they don't have, they will always claim. I think way forward is for the women to come to their level.
You see, yep.
Advice I will give.
I'm already
It's an
drained.
advice that if this
peace.
generation
They
is
will
going
not
to
ready.
fight.
And it's a advice that will not take.
No.
No, but you're still coming back to the same
in
thing.
this case,
It's the
Mr.
same-
Femi, what you're saying is ego sometimes is coming from the wrong
Direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if it's coming and hitting the woman every single time, one day she will push back. She will not always come to that level you are saying.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
There is a family that I know. They got married. When she got married, they got married to this lady, healthy, looking good, beautiful, like that. But at long run, she developed hypertension. The BP started rising, blood pressure, this headache, You know, what's the cause of this? The husband will not come home early. He will come in home around 2 to 3 o'clock. And when the wife did not even stand up and go and open the door for the husband, that's another case. Like that. She's gotten depressed. So she now go to a counselor. See, this is the situation. This is what I'm facing in my marriage. What is the way forward? The best advice they give to her is that just dance to the tune of your husband. Whatever your husband wants, give it to him. If he said sleep, sleep.
But that's a very bad guardian counselor. He's a very bad person.
No, because
not even considering her own part. He's one-sided.
She has tried her own part.
That's a very bad counselor. He's a very bad counselor.
Like they
Let's
told
not
her,
even go there. Because
Mr.
if I come,
it's like they told her just go and keep dying quietly.
That's exactly what they told her.
But I'll give you a different scenario.
Yes.
A religious leader now.
Yeah.
You know, between a couple.
Yeah.
He has listened to the wife.
Listen to the husband.
And listen to the children. You know, this is why I also said mindset. When you ask where are our religious leaders, why are they? If your religious leader's mindset and his own ideologies are from the wrong place, he will feed you the wrong things.
The way Mr. Femi is talking. go on, be patient.
No, the man listened.
And
that's why we're saying that these are the things that are
they need to
killing
change
the women too, emotionally.
Yeah.
If you have ego as a man and it's so up there, then it's you that should work on yourself. Why should it be the woman carrying the burden of your own funny behavior? These are the questions we're asking now. As I said, I am the millennial here, bridging that gap between the older and the Gen Zs, because the Gen Zs have their extreme beliefs as well. But we need that balance. And then we're seeing a lot of women just saying, no, these things don't feel okay. They don't feel right. This shouldn't be how things should go. And they are questioning it. And so the religious leader says that I can see clearly that in these stories and the way your household is run, the father is the problem. However, as a religious leader, I will come in and know how to put it to him that these are things you also need to adjust. Now, that's a more fair, you know, because women now are also saying it's the religious settings that are sometimes keeping them where they are rather than looking at the real issues. In fact, some religious leaders seem to twist the religious teachings. Whereas
just to suit their own selfish interest.
Are saying, but I'm reading here that God said this, and it's not like that. So what are you telling me? Which is why sometimes you now see people saying, I want to go and know God for myself. I'm not going to go and listen to anybody, to one. So it's not fair, Mr. Femi, in my opinion, that a woman will be the one to be told to endure the bad behavior of someone, because their sons, their children, sorry sir, just let me land. The children that are male children in the homes are seeing this narrative,
that bad example,
and picking it and saying, oh, well, I can get away with anything then. So it's just not really a fair stance.
You know, when you hear the word, it's a man's world.
Yes. That's what you
as
just
told us. As a millennial, even before before I became a millennial, it's always like it's a man's world. So why will it become a woman's world?
Leader, like a pastor, he will tell you that the Bible says men love what? Your wife. He will tell you that wife, do what?
Respect your husband.
I wish there was another Christian here, because I've still had another verse that followed that I just can't remember. You know, that followed that and of course, yes, the man leads the home. But women were also saying, even choose that man that is the right person to lead you. Because leading, the men seem to have taken it to mean, I'm your boss, I'm your master, it is what I say.
Exactly.
But
I shouldn't care about your feelings.
But Marian,
But it's not a slave master.
Before marriage,
yes,
in courtship, the man is very caring. He listens to feelings. He's the one that is jumping from pillar to post to make sure that, you know, the woman is okay. If she says she has headache, he will take her to the hospital. He will make sure, no, my woman has to get okay. She has to. And then all of a sudden, 1 week, 1 month after marriage, he becomes a monster. So what happened? So what happened? Why the sudden dramatic change? I'm asking you as a man.
He was hunting before.
You see,
So what really happened?
He's not a good person. That's
my
my conclusion. He's just not a good person.
Actually, if you look at it, as we said earlier, the fear of God, a man that has the fear of God, is not a perfect human being, actually, but at least
He'll be conscious of certain things.
How many men have fear of God today?
Good question.
Or how many women have fear of God?
Even the men of God themselves, they don't have the
fear of God. Yes.
Because if they have the fear of God,
because they was preaching that truth now gets attacked.
Now because if they say the truth, that man that tithe is 2 million of everyone. If they tell him the truth, he won't come to church again. What they will tell the wife is that, Madam, you just have to submit to your husband.
Whatever it is.
That is what they will
so that they can justify collecting the 2 million.
So women just have to remember too, if your life ends, society will still say, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you speak out? Why didn't you? But
today, you and I can be talking to an educated woman who knows her right and wrong. A woman in the village who does not even know her right, who has been molded to always obey and worship the man. And all her life, she gets all the battering, she gets all the neglect, she gets all the emotional whatever. These are the women that die the more. And that's why maybe if we have a statistic, when you hear maternal mortality, it's all because of that. Because the emotional aspect, the whole baggage begins to tell on the woman when she's pregnant. Because you can't deal with so many things anymore. And then the battering, the beating, everything comes back. And then it's like the body is now saying, okay, at this point, I also have to react to it. Whose responsibility is it to begin to talk to those women at that local level? The only thing we see at local level is health givers who will go, oh, come and check your high blood pressure, come and check your BP, come and check your sugar, and all of that, and other related, diseases that has to do with. But nobody sits with this woman. Nobody sits with the village woman or the local woman to say, please express your emotional feelings. How are you doing in your home?
Okay, to answer, in my experience, at least in communications, supporting the health thematic sector, I would say that, yes, there are NGOs that are now beginning to
go in that direction.
Yes, what to do if you're being abused or you're experiencing this specific things, numbers to call, where to go. Some even have shelters. Just run there, in the meantime. They call them safe houses. And then there is the communications part. If in rural communities, we know that they listen to radio a lot, then anyone, NGOs, even individuals, they can just take it upon themselves, produce radio dramas that imbibe these things as stories where the women can now hear the lessons and know what they are supposed to do. It's just one solution I have seen work and believe with more of it. There are people who naturally, they just lead. You put them in a setting, they take charge. They don't even have to have all that education. There are some women where when the NGOs go to those rural settings, there are women that they refer them to who just lead. They're able to gather women around
and speak to them.
From they have that influence in those communities, even without the education.
Okay, so they are influencers.
They are influencers. They too can be, used for this sort of messaging. Yes.
But let's go to the girl child.
Okay.
Where You are taking care of kids, you are taking care of the husband, and you are not taking care of yourself. So you are lost between them. And if anything happens to you, you are on your own. Because the man goes this direction, the children, maybe they are kids who don't even understand what you are going through other than to cry and say, well, mommy is not here to give me my food, or she's not here to take me to school. How do we begin to change the training of the girl child to say, look, yes, family is important, husband is important, kids are important, but your health and your well-being, especially your emotional part, is very important. Don't give it all out. Not even at the, literate people, families, but even the local communities where the abuses are more, where you have early child marriage, forced marriage, religious beliefs and all of that, combining in one direction. How do we begin to train, to tell the girl child, please, from the beginning, begin to fight for your health?
But before, interesting, do they do house chores?
Of course.
They do house chores very well. Like, they are not waiting for their mom to do it.
They are always even, anxious to
do it.
Okay.
Now, that's nice. And I like that answer because it leads me to, the home. That's where, because of this child, clean up after yourself, you've eaten, go and wash your plate. They're telling the sister to do it home first. Let there be that nobody should clean up after you. When we say cooking, we always think of it in terms of ladies. And there are even females who say, I don't enjoy cooking. But it's expected that just because you are physically female, you should. He said that when he got married, he had this idea that my wife is there to serve me. It not be so exactly. So we learn. Put that ego aside first and face the reality of the fact that if you don't do certain things right, this your family.
Consequences of action. That's the target. But Mr. Femi, at what period do men relearn, or at what period do men begin to see reality and accept it? Because it's always initially gra-gra. Then after maybe the man is 40 years, is 50 years, because this is another topic for another day. Why is it that men begin to suffer at their old age? When do I begin to look at this reality and say, man, I need to change?
Change should be right from the beginning of the journey. You cannot do the right thing, do the right thing. Because you get to a certain... So, a man that knows that when I got to my old age, I want to have rest, I want to enjoy my life, I want to do this, you have to start. When those ones are in good order, you train up your children, they go to good school, they graduate, they start working.
Boastful father who is always slapping and beating them and giving them punishment and shouting at their mom.
They will realize that, man, this man is trying us
in the right way.
And they will look at themselves now. They will look where they are coming from. They will look where they are. That, man, this is our father. This is our mother. So,
Miriam, we talked about consequences of action. Is that not supposed to be the same nonchalant about health, who are less concerned? Maybe when we go to the hospital, the message should be, how often do you do your checkup? How often do you, take a rest? How often do you go for exercise? These are the issues the hospitals where we go to. These are the questions should also put forward. But you find out that today, even the medical sector is losing humanity. It is more about just pay, come and get your treatment and go. In fact, the kind of insult you
like you
get.
said, they were rude to you.
Very
Some people
rude.
don't want to go to hospitals
So,
for this reason.
And that is somebody like me. Not to talk of somebody who doesn't even know her right. She will just think that, okay, this is how they
do here.
They do
That's
here.
so that they do
That's
here.
what they do here. So do we not even living, they're also dying. Quietly, all of themselves. So do we begin to have some kind of department or people that when you go there as a woman, before you go for anything, you have to go there first for some kind of interrogation to say, look, what exactly is the problem. Maybe when you begin to pour out your heart, then the hospital some years back, she had typhoid and malaria, and she went to the hospital. And immediately she got to the hospital and she came back. What is the problem? She said as soon as she got to the hospital, she got well. You didn't take any treatment. You didn't see any doctor. She said no, that the doctor told her she needs to be careful with how her environment, reduce exposure to mosquitoes. She needs to take care of the water she drinks. And that when the person was talking to her, she felt so relaxed and she felt okay. She has been lacking in this aspect. So you see, without any treatment, she's already well because somebody talked to her.
Yes. In fact, what you said is very...
All the organs,
yes. there's no one to pour it out to.
Mm.
So that idea of something where
just pour your heart.
can, I think that would be just really great, you know. But Nigeria's problem is very broad and intertwined because you've just said it too, that our doctors are leaving. And it's been a recent topic where we are even saying that female doctors may better understand the issues of female patients more
than men.
Yes, because even sometimes when you go to see a doctor and you're talking to a male doctor, in your mind sometimes you know some things.
You have to keep some things private.
Exactly. There's that part. And there's the part where you already understand your body as a woman. You know some things are tied to your female anatomy, I'll say.
And
but they're not understanding that angle you're coming from. Whereas a female doctor would better. So we are already having issues of the doctors leaving, which
but
includes
unfortunately, the male doctors are even more friendly, more calm, more understanding than the female.
So that's
a problem. And then she begins to get angry.
Open up.
She just gets she gets upset.
Again, back to what we said earlier. Let's be decent human beings. Let's have the right mindset. We will not see someone else and be intimidated. We will know that our job is adopt the right mindset. I would know that because someone dashed me money, anybody should not just enter the building. Right mindset, right, be decent, and then we would have a better. But it's hard though, because
the right mindset is very, very hard.
It's hard.
Mr. Bami, just 30 seconds. Yes,
There are NGOs, as you said,
that also do all that.
Okay, all right. Okay, so NGOs will be visiting homes. I think so.
Or even hospitals. They can domicile in hospitals.
They partner with
hospitals.
But I think that going forward, rather than waiting for hospitals, they can just do community outreach.
They do that.
They do.
Maybe in communities.
They do, but I'm saying I like this hospital idea because people come there.
Every day.
People come there. So you can just refer, do you want to talk to me? You know, and then they refer you to someone.
Neighbor to neighbor, they go to rural areas.
Okay.
They involve women.
Okay. All right. Yes. Gentleman and lady, I know we can go on and on. Very interesting conversation. Very. And I don't think we've been able to trash even half of it. But the message is try and be a better human being, be a decent human being, have the right mindset. And for women, don't wait until you die before you begin to seek for health advice from day one. Your health is very important to you. If you are not healthy, then you will not have a healthy home. You will not even have a healthy children. Body. So the message here is please take care of your health and remain healthy as much as possible. And from me, Medina Azaki, and the whole team here, it's bye for now.